Thank you, Nadia. Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you. Very happy to join you. Very happy to be together with you. As we are here to join you in endorsing this wonderful movement, Kenya ni Mimi. Because Kenya has owners. And those owners are each and every one of the 50 million people in this country. But these owners also have a responsibility. When you call yourself an owner, you have a responsibility for the management, the welfare of that property that you own. And for a long time now, the majority shareholders in this project of ours called Project Kenya have not fully played their part, not only in taking ownership, but in managing, directing, and gearing Kenya towards its rightful destination. We are here today to begin to change that, so that the majority shareholder, as you have heard, 70% of you, majority shareholder, should begin to take ownership and responsibility and not allow the minority shareholder to dictate to you what should or should not be your future. Tunaelewana wenzangu? Na uongozi watu ni kuchukua wanachukua, sio kupatia unapatiwa. Kama munagoja kupatiwa, basi no problem. Mutagojea mpaka muwe wazee na wengine wakuje. But you must take it, you must grab it, you must move with it, and you must take ownership. I wanted to say that as an opening remark. To my dear friend from Isiolo, you have raised the issue of FGM, and you have raised the issue of gender-based violence in homes. And it is true, we have a challenge. And we have a challenge first and foremost starting with gender-based violence, especially during this particular period of COVID where people have been restricted, people have been at home. But we must go back into history and ask ourselves, where does this come from? Why is it that women are targeted and not necessarily boys? And that comes from an active mentality where we have seen women as objects, as opposed to human beings, as opposed to people who have the capacity and are equal partners in the destiny that we have together as a country. Today, women are 50-50 if you take the population. Actually, I think there are more women in Kenya than there are men. There are actually more women than men. And by leaving over half of your population outside the social economic agenda of a country, you're basically saying, unatembea na mguu moja na huu mwingine wewe mwenyewe umekata. Hiyo safari yako hutaweza kutimiza. You need both your legs, you need both your hands in order to be able to move forward. And that is why we are coming up with a very distinct and clear program. And we have said that it is important for us to recognize that women are equal partners with men. And by so doing, we must remove this idea that women are objects, that they are either sexual objects or they are objects of burden. Kazi yao ni kulima na kufanya vile wanaambiwa na wazee. And we have said that we want to eliminate FGM in this country by the year 2022. And this is one of the tasks that the Ministry of Gender is currently focused on. And I hope they can work together with you and others like you to ensure that we bring it to an end. We have made it very clear that where we find societies and communities that are actually encouraging and endeavoring to continue with an outdated practice, we are going to be taking action. From the sub-chief to the chief hapo kwa locality. Tukiuliza ni kwa nini unaruhusu mambo ambaye inadhuru wakina mama wetu iendelee kwako. Wewe ndio utakuwa punished ukiwa unasimamia mambo kama haya ya siku zilizopita na unasimamia na unaangalia kifanyika. And we are saying that as leaders all the way from the grassroots level, we must take responsibility. And I would request that through this particular forum, we are working on trying to create, using technology again, applications where our girls can report their seniors who are engaged in this kind of endeavor, and to do so anonymously, to allow us to have that information, to allow us to take action. Because we will take action, and we must take action in order to allow our girls to be able to grow to be mature, productive human beings. The same applies with gender-based violence. And the problem that we have, again, is the same problem of people not coming forward. We are encouraging you, come forward. Speak your mind. Pass the information. Use technology. Let us know. Let us take action on these individuals who are perpetuating and carrying out these kind of activities. And unfortunately, it is not the young people who are doing these things. It is that 30% that I'm telling you who want to continue to live in the past. The future is yours, and that future must be today. You must be able to say that my sister is my partner, not my subject. You must be able to say that your wife is your partner, not your slave or your domestic help. She is your partner. You change that mindset, because it's all about mindset. You start taking control. You start saying no. These things will come to an end. And what I want to assure you is that you will have a government that will support you, and it is my intention to ensure that we support you. When it comes to what BBI means to our young people, you have to have an understanding of where and why did we come up and start BBI. You have heard my good friend here talk about you being the majority voters. And unfortunately, just as they say, voting machines in some instances. Mimi hakuna kura natafuta, so me I can speak now and tell you the way things are. Right? And you come out and you vote. But at the end of the day, for one reason or another, because of disagreements of those who you are voting for, we end up in a situation where violence erupts, violence, community against community. Why? Not because there is a difference per se between you who voted this way and your colleague who voted another way, but because those who you voted for are not satisfied and hence say you should have a grievance. And we came out after the 2017 election, and I reached out to my brother Raila, and I told him, really, and those of you who live in Nairobi and other parts of this country, Mombasa, for example, where there were these clashes between our young people. And we said, surely, we cannot continue to live in a perpetual 5-year cycle of violence. We must find a way of coming together. We must ask ourselves, why is it that we are challenging ourselves? We must ask ourselves the issue of winner take all. We must ask ourselves, what is this that breeds pressure, especially in our young people? That the first opportunity to be violent, they become violent. These are the issues that we try to address. And when we reached out and we shook hands and we said that we will not continue to allow our people to fight, and we want to shake hands so that at the grassroots they can shake hands. And friends, you have seen from that handshake of almost 2.5 years ago, you have seen the peace that has prevailed in this country and the manner in which we have been able to work together, because the agendas are not that different. And that is why we said we must deal with the issue of inclusion. And when we talk about inclusion, we are not just talking about the inclusion of political leaders. We are talking about inclusion and communities to feel included. We are talking about our young people being included. We are talking about our women feeling that they are included, and that's why the 1/3 agenda came from. So what we are trying to achieve in Kenya is to ensure that no single Kenyan should ever again feel left out to the point that they want to become violent to achieve their objective. And that is why one of the critical components, and I'm sure you've been told about the details, is ensuring that we entrench in law bills that will ensure that the youth are adequately catered for. That's why we need the youth policy going out, so that we ensure that youth are at the center of any developmental programs in our country. That is why we are saying we want our young people also involved in decision-making bodies all the way from county assemblies to the National Assembly. That's why we are saying we want young people involved in both national government and county government. That's why I'm happy with the person who said that, my dear young daughter here, who was saying she would love to see youthful cabinet secretaries. And Mark, you don't forget our independence ministers. Almost 60% were under the age of 30. Under the age of 39. Over 60%. Because they had a drive to want to determine their future. This is the drive I'm asking you guys. Please, mutoke kwa kuwa watu wa kuwa mnapatiwa handouts. Ati Uhuru amekuja ni nini anawaletea. Muwe watu ambao mtasema kwa viongozi wenu, hatutaki utuletee, tunataka kukuambia ni nini tunataka utubadilishie, ndio sisi tuwe na uwezo wa kujipatia. That is the way you take control of your destiny. That is the way you take control of your future. That is the way you are going to stop issues of FGM. That is the way you are going to stop issues of gender-based violence. That is the way you are going to stop issues of electoral violence, where you people are the ones who shed blood fighting for a group of wazees who are sitting at home with their children with no issues, watching you on TV as you take pangas and other things against each other. You are one people. You have the same needs. You need work. You need to be empowered to get capital. You need education. You need to ensure you have a good roof over your head. You need to ensure you have good health. You need to ensure that your roads are functioning and working. You need to ensure that your pension and futures are dealt with. You need to ensure that your resources are not being stolen corruptly by a few individuals and you are left to mire in grime. Jameni, chukueni usukani. Muwe watu ambao mutakuwa muna dictate, sio kuwa dictated tu. Museme hii ndio tunataka na hii ndio Kenya tunayotaka. Na mimi nataka kuhakikishia ya kwamba mimi nitawaunga mkono kwa hiyo safari. Lakini jukumu ni lenu wenzangu. Jukumu ni lenu. Haya, tuendelee.